thing, but being a good breeder is a whole nother thing. Video with that coming soon. Okay, so with that being said, you're investing in their program, so they should be in turn invested in you because they should want their pups to do well. They should want to see their pups flourish. So it's in my best interest for you to win. So anybody gets anything off of this breeding that I got with these two, coming this summer, you're gonna get me. That's who you're buying me. All right, you're buying my wealth of knowledge, all of my uh, interactions with the dogs, all my expertise. You'll get free consultations for buying a dog, things of that nature. So, yeah, so basically having regular access to the breeder for information, you know, like I said, you want to go to a breeder who's going to give you game, who's going to work with you, who's going to show you the ropes, so to speak, especially if it's your first dog, opposed to someone who's going to sell your dog and then just never see you again. All right. The next section. All right. What are you willing to put up with? All right. And this is more so buying a older dog. With a puppy, if you buy, a puppy, you can train a puppy up to be exactly what you need it to be. But if you buy like an adult dog, okay, that dog is set in his ways. If the dog is, 6, 7 months and it's been living its life 6, 7 months the wrong way, it's going to take probably another 6 or 7 months to break that habit, to break those habits that the dog has. And then probably another 6 or 7 months to build the right habits. So, is that something that you want to deal with? That's why I said, going back to the last section, it's imperative that you ask questions. All right. It's important that you ask the right questions. Um, what behaviors will cause the dog to be rehomed? All right. You know, if the dog is, pissing and pooping everywhere in the house, is your wife going to be able to put up with that? You know, is the dog? So that's why it's nice to ask. Is the dog potty trained? Is it an inside dog? Or is this a kennel dog? Is it an outside dog? What's going on with this dog? These are things that you need to know. Has the dog chewed up your furniture? Has the dog scratched up your wall? Chewed the cords and all of that? And also, you got to have that conversation with your spouse. That I forgot to put that in there, which definitely is a big part of this. You got to have that conversation with your spouse. You know, get them on board. Let her know, hey, there's probably not going to be any money in this the first year, maybe even the second year as well, or at least half the second year until you get a litter. And even then, you still got to reinvest back into your program. But definitely having your spouse on board, your roommate on board, whoever you live with. Maybe you live with a family member or a friend. Everybody. This is a family business. Really, it's hard to be in a breeder just by yourself. I got my brother. He helps me with the dogs. We take turns taking the dogs out, feeding the dogs, bathing the dogs, doing everything that's needed for the dogs. But I set the expectation, so he knows what to expect. You know, a lot of people, you buy your wife something so that she'll let you get a dog, but you don't set the expectation of, hey, you know we're not going to make no money off this dog until she's able to have a litter at 18 months. So, in the meantime, the dog might chew something up, and she want to get rid of the dog. So now, you're in a dilemma. You want to keep your business. You want to grow your kennel. You want to grow your business, but you don't want to lose your wife. Well, that's your fault. You didn't set that expectation. So definitely set the expectation with your wife. Going back to what you're willing to put up with. Um, I had a story time. I had a dog that I did have to rehome because she was getting too much. You know, I got her. She wasn't a pup. She was technically she was a pup, but she was a big pup. I'll say that. She was like maybe 5 months, 5 or 6 months. You know, so she was definitely not this size. You know, she was pretty big by that time. But the guy who I got her from, you know, I guess he didn't believe in kennels. He didn't want the dog put in the kennel. But the dog was an escape artist to the best. So, you know, she would, you know, get out the kennel. She would get out the fence. You know, she was, you know, was very hard to uh, get a hold of her. Okay, you know, she would break out the kennel. She would poop all over the place. You know, even you take her outside and maybe she poops outside, maybe she don't, but either way it goes, she's gonna come back inside and poop and pee right in the house. You know, the dog had no home training, and that's not something that I'm willing to put up with. So I did have to rehome that dog. So that dog did go to someone excuse me, who had the time and the energy to put into that dog to, you know, to get her right. You know, she's doing good now, but I didn't personally have the time and the energy to put into that dog. No one wants to rehome a dog, you know, but we know things happen. You know, just being a realist, things happen. So, and the moral of the story is, I didn't ask the right questions. Had I asked the right questions, I wouldn't have got into that situation. Had I had a contract, because I had wrote up a contract and everything, but the contract